Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. And this episode is not as exciting as it usually is because the Colts just wound up losing their first game. Win streak snapped. The Colts are now 3-1, but it's not the end of the world. But we got to talk about it. The Colts lost, scores 27-21 against the Los Angeles Rams at SoFi Stadium. It was the game of the week, as I expected, in my opinion. It was a showdown. The game could have went another direction, but we're going to get into that later. But it just didn't happen to end that way. Now, of course, despite all the things that happened, the Colts still had a chance to win. But the key thing that I think was the reason behind losing was miscommunication. Miscommunication was a huge issue this week, and it showed its rear end against the NFC team, one of the best teams in the NFL, in the Los Angeles Rams. The Colts was miscommunicating on both sides of the field, more than so on the offensive side. I think the offensive side of the ball, it was just not it. The offensive line took a huge setback this week, especially with the absence of Matt Gonsalves. It showed his rear end today. We had Dalton Tucker on the field, but one of the biggest issues of the offensive line, I will have to say, as of so far this season, was Bernhard Raimann. Bernhard Raimann has not had a really good year, in my opinion. This guy has been struggling, and it showed his face today with all the penalties that he consistently gets. The blocking hasn't been there. Now, of course, they were going up against, as I mentioned before in the preview video, one of the top defenses in the league right now, especially in run defense. This showed today, Jonathan Taylor could not get off this week. Of course, he had a 76 yards carry, but he had a touchdown. We're going to go ahead and talk about the reason why he didn't get his touchdown called in was A.D. Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell had a chance to put himself on the map today. He had a moment for himself to show his face in the league to be like, hey, I'm that guy. He had a big opportunity this week with Alec Pierce being out with the concussion. So we know A.D. Mitchell was going to step up to the plate, be the guy, be the option. I know a lot of fans after this game are going to say, hey, we have Ashton Dulin right there. Why is A.D. Mitchell getting all those reps? And especially in the screen blocking territory. Even run blocking, I would say his run blocking is not really elite as we would think it would be. He's still young, so he's still going to learn from these things, especially after this game when he looks back at it. I know it's going to be eating him alive, but you just got to grow from these situations. Of course, I was frustrated when it happened. He took JT's touchdown right off the board, wide open, biggest run of the game. Needed that touchdown, and it wound up getting swiped back just due to the block of A.D. Mitchell, so he got the flag on that. But prior to that, earlier in the game, A.D. Mitchell had a wide open touchdown after an amazing grab through double coverage. Jones put the ball right on the money to A.D. Mitchell, and he wound up dropping the ball right before he walked in the red zone. Right before he walked in the end zone, he dropped the ball. Now, of course, we've seen this last year with Jonathan Taylor. I think it was against the Broncos or something like that, when he had a big run and just dropped the ball before crossing the plane. Why is this a normal thing that happens with players? It's something that bothers me. I'm not a professional athlete, but I'm a fan. And I talk about the games at the end of the day, but it frustrates me with players, not even on the Colts in general. You see it all in all sports, football related, college and professional, NFL. Before they cross the end zone, they drop the ball. I don't know if it's due to being flashy or be like, oh, I cooked that guy trying to taunt or stun on him. But you would just want to take the points and then celebrate later. I don't know if it's an ego thing or what. And then at the end, they want to catch a temper tantrum. They want to throw fits, crash out. It's nobody's fault but yours. If you would just play the game like you're supposed to and get the points, those things don't happen. And what did it do? Karma showed its face, and it wound up costing us when we really needed the points. So I don't know what they're going to do with A.D. Mitchell moving forward. I know after Taylor, when he did that, he wound up not getting a lot of reps. His reps got slipped. So I don't know what they're going to do with A.D. Mitchell. I don't. He had a big game. This was a big game for him, the ultimate test. He could have stepped up to the plate and showed why he needs the ball more. Even at the beginning, right off the A.D. Mitchell talk, we're not going to talk about him no more. Obviously, he grew from his mistakes. He knew he did something wrong. But that wasn't the whole reason why we lost. We still had a chance to win. So the blame's not on AD Mitchell. Did it cost us? Yes, but it's not the blame on him. Daniel Jones, at the beginning of the game, there's a play that they usually have with AD Mitchell on a go route. Now, granted, if you guys know, there's usually a play every week. AD Mitchell just runs down the field. Jones lobs it up. Hopefully he comes to grab it. I mean, today he showed why they do that, because he did wind up catching the football. But at the beginning of the game, set the tone. You send a go route early. No Alec Pierce. You send a go route early, and you underthrow it, and it wound up getting picked off. Now, the reason why it bothered me so much was because the Rams get the ball back in the second half. The Rams get the ball back in the second half, and you do that. So I did not like that play call at the beginning. The play call was a little conservative this week. And, of course, granted, we know the Rams are good at run defense, so I wasn't expecting them to run the ball a lot, but they ran the ball a lot. They didn't go nowhere, but they ran the ball a lot this week. Of course, they wanted to rely on Jonathan Taylor, who is the best running back in the league, in my opinion. But with this team, you knew how good their run defense was, and you still tried to force it. It didn't work. The screenplays, blown up every time, so obvious. Everybody in America knew that you was running the screenplay, including people in SoFi Stadium. And the Rams defense hit you in the mouth every time. Every time. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's not the end of the world that you lost this game. But this was a wake-up call for you. This was the punch you needed. Now, before this week, on the podcast, there was some words said about pumped up crowd noise, how the crowd's not really turned like how it is. And you got exposed today. Just got flat out exposed. You just flat out got exposed. Stiff arm, getting pointed at. The tackling was bad. The coverages was bad. Too many penalties. This was the most penalized game I've seen all year from the Colts. The run blocking wasn't good. 2 interceptions. Like I said, we knew that was going to come eventually. Daniel Jones still had a pretty good game. Still had a pretty decent game. But those throws were just inexcusable throws. He's going to be due for a bad throw. But the last one at the end of the game was pretty much a heave to pretty much just get the ball off. But at the beginning, it was an unnecessary throw. But the whole game, I say he had a pretty solid game. But, of course, it didn't result in any touchdowns. Tyler Warren had a good game. But I just wish we could have did more. Tyler Warren had himself a good game. He was the most important piece on the offense, besides Michael Pittman Jr. Today showed you how much we needed Alec Pierce. We need Alec Pierce back immediately. It showed you. If we had Pierce, we would have got more points on the board. And the defense, we can talk about now. The defense, I say, for what we had out there, I think they had a pretty decent job. Shout out to Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton, he had himself a good day. Zaire Franklin had a good day. I know how much a lot of people want to talk about him in coverage, but he had a pretty good day in coverage. Latu had a good day. The pressure it did the most it could, but Xavier Howard another week got picked on by Puka Nacua. And then during the game, there was some fans that were saying, "Oh, Howard shouldn't be on Puka. He should be covering Adams. We should have Ward on Puka Nacua." And I think a lot of people forget about the position that Puka Nacua plays. Ward travels. Like, he's just a big, fast receiver in the slot. He goes everywhere, but he's mostly in the slot. Howard is there to not guard the biggest receiver. Ward matches up with Adams perfectly, and it showed when Ward was matched up with Adams. He was getting his dues. If you put Howard on Devontae Adams, it's 6 every time. Was it 6 every time with Puka? No. Did Puka go off? Yes, but it didn't amount to a touchdown every time. Like, this is the problem we were going to face, regardless of the situation. Ward travels on the best receiver in the game. The best receiver. You can say Puka's the best receiver, but in my eyes, Devontae Adams is still the best receiver. We're just a cornerback short of the situation. That's just the total of it. We're just a cornerback short of the situation. Mekhi Blackman, he was out there, but Howard was going to get picked on regardless of the situation, no matter where he was at. He's a vet. Lou Anarumo relies on vet ability. Of course, you had young guys. I've seen somebody mention, is this why we cut Juju Brents? I feel like Juju Brents would have had a good game. I mean, nothing's guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. I was expecting Charvarius Ward pick this week. Didn't get it. All he was doing was getting ran over, stiff armed into the dirt, getting pointed at. The tackling was bad this week. I would say that much. The tackling was bad from the secondary. I would say they did pretty good on the run defense. They pretty much held Kyron Williams under in wraps, so that was pretty good to see. But the pass coverage was from the secondaries was the biggest reason from the defensive side. They had a few let-ups. They did pretty solid, but it was only so much they could do because of the offense couldn't get figured out. The offense couldn't get it figured out, so it just had the defense come back on the field. And the defense wound up giving up a big play at the end due to miscommunication again, or Mekhi Blackman slipping on Tutu Atwell. One play, heave down the field, wide open touchdown, game over. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. You can't win every game. We was kind of outmatched, honestly. Like I said, we had a chance to win it, regardless of the situation that happened with Eddie Mitchell. But it was just miscommunication. I think that was the biggest key to the Colts losing, was just flat out miscommunication. The blocking was bad on the screens. So that was one of the issues. The blockings was bad on the screen offense. The run plays was called too much. We had to rely on Daniel Jones this week, and I don't think we did that. I think this was a week we were supposed to see Daniel Jones reach the over 40, almost 40 pass attempts this week. I think this was the week to see that, and we didn't see it. So it resulted in what it resulted in. It's that simple. The defense tried its best. I will say the defense gave us a chance to win. More than enough chances, but the offense was just mentally fatigued after everything that happened. I think that was the honest reason. They were mentally fatigued after everything that happened. They had points and they got erased that fast. It was like, what else can we do? What else can we do, coach? The coach was fatigued and the players was fatigued on the offensive side. So I'll give credit where the credit is due. I gave credit to the defense for trying. And of course, the 88-yard touchdown at the end, it is what it is. But during the whole game, I feel like the defense had a solid game. Stafford is a dog. He was trying to make plays out of everything, but the defense held their own. They really did. It is what it is, but you just bounce back next week, man. Hopefully they can lock in next week and get a dub. But you guys let me know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Culture Shock. Until next time, we'll see you.